Shalom, everybody from the beautiful Galilee. My sister's tour was, I can't even describe what the Lord did with 20 women. And the Lord said, you only will bring 20 women. That's it. And that's exactly what they did, because I knew not to bring any more. That was what the Lord wanted. 20 women from every direction, from every denomination, and we all came with a common denominator, and that was Yeshua, and that was what it was all about. We learned how to walk together. We learned how to laugh together. We learned how to cry together. We learned how to rejoice together. We learned how to keep in the step with the Spirit. Since we walk by the Spirit, we got to keep in step. And the Lord said, by the end of this, my sister's tour, we'll be standing at the Watergate with one voice saying, our God reigns. But I need to tell you something. Of all the groups I've taken and how many years I've walked in Israel since 1991 and live here, you notice the title of this, The Donkey with the Red Lipstick? It's funny, I kind of laughed with the Lord. I said, Lord, I've been called a lot of names, but not a donkey with a red lipstick. So I'm going to get straight to the point and tell you what I learned. I've always been one, when the Lord asked me to do something, I've always done it no matter what people thought. Well, here it is. My group went to, the sisters tour, went to the Garden Tomb. And I can't lead the tour because they have to have a certain guide from the Garden Tomb leading them. But it was so cold, and my tour guide, Atai, was very concerned about me because I was freezing. So he said, I'm going to get you a cup of coffee. And of course, I think it was Terry, Cherry, and Chris stayed with me. And I think Lisa too, But the rest of the 16 women went. So I find out, I don't say communion. I teach on covenant. He said, you're going to have your communion, covenant, and section D. Well, I've been into every section there is. Finally, we find this cute little hut, section D. But when we got there, there were 4 or 5 beautiful Chinese people there with one man sobbing, straight out of his kishkas, sobbing, and nobody could calm him down. But I instantly went into a volunteer for the day of his power. And I walked up to him, got very close in his face. And I said, listen, I used to be a pastor. I'm a pastor. I want to help you. And all of a sudden, out of my mouth came, your cup is overflowing. This is the season. What the Lord has for you is to step out now. Now is the time to move forward what was in your heart. This is the time. And I went on. All of a sudden, I'm very close to his face. He said, you don't understand. And the women were trying to explain about this gentleman, that he had a vision. And he opened up this box. And out of the box came a donkey with red lipstick. He says, you're my donkey, you're my donkey, you're my donkey. And again, I'm thinking, okay, I'll be a donkey, I'll be a donkey. Turned out, because I was so close to him, it was a sign to him. Lord was saying, I'm going to bring a donkey that has red lipstick, and you will know when you're to launch out in your ministry. And he kept on saying it over, sobbing, crying. And as I realized, Lord, I get it. I get it why you use this example for him, because who would have ever thought that the Lord would give him a picture of a donkey as a servant carrying the word of the Lord. And the Lord began to minister to me. He says, daughter, he says, my people need to become servants. They need to become donkeys that will carry that word of the Lord to somebody. No matter what anybody thinks, it doesn't matter anymore. We're so past that. To carry the word of the Lord, be willing to be a servant and to step out, because it changed his life. He's waited for years and years and years to know when to launch his ministry. He couldn't speak very much English. And here the Lord would use me with red lipstick. And then the Lord began to say, daughter, Balaam, the donkey, the whole thing carried the word of the Lord. The donkey carried the word of the Lord. It's a servant. We need to humble ourselves because you could change the direction of somebody. You could speak life into somebody who was carrying despair, disappointment, didn't know which way to turn. And that's what the word of the knowledge is. That's what word of knowledge is. Because it comes out from the heart of God. And the people will know, oh my gosh, this is from the Lord. They forget about you. You're a servant. They forget about you. And Noma's always said to me, if most people would realize this, the messenger is nothing. It's the message that is the most important, that can change somebody's life. He cried, he laughed, he cried, he laughed. Then there was a Chinese, beautiful woman who was a missionary. And again, the Lord just began to have me minister to her what was in her heart. She's hugging me so tight. She says, no one knew this. No one knew this. No one knew this. I said, but sweetheart, the Lord knows it. He knows every issue in our heart. He knows the secret chambers in your heart. But I'm saying to all of you, because I know that many of you will volunteer to be donkeys. You don't have to wear red lipstick, okay? But the Lord said, within this hour, because of all the balagan, all the chaos, and all the just ridiculous things that are going on, would we all become donkeys and carry the word of the Lord? The donkey carried Yeshua, the word, the living word. We carry the living word in our hearts to set the captives free. My heart to you, I pray that this is encouragement. I pray that you will know it's the Lord that is looking for the servants. He's looking for the donkeys. Again, I wear red lipstick. It doesn't matter. Men, women, it doesn't matter. But he's saying, would you become a donkey and carry the word of the Lord to somebody that needs to be set free, that needs to know that the Lord sees them and hears them and wants to speak to them? That's what he's asking. So I'm saying to you from the Galilee, the donkey with the red lipstick, willing to carry the word of the Lord to anybody and everybody. I volunteer, Yeshua. Blessings from the Galilee.